Ronald Reagan once said, "The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. They are the ones who get people to do the great things." I believe this quote encompasses on the relationship leadership model because it was constantly highlighting the impact a leader has on its followers. For those of you who have lived in a dorm, I am sure you know or remember the impact your RA or hall director had on you. Hopefully, it was a positive experience. Running a building is no easy task. It takes a combination of elements from the relational leadership model. However, my leader that I chose to interview, Nick Campanella, displays ethical, empowering, and process-oriented leadership style. Before we go into Nick's leadership style, let me give you a little bit of background on him. Nick is from Florida. He graduated from the University of Florida with a business degree. He was attracted to Ball State University for multiple reasons. He looked into the 2016 election to see if they voted blue. He looked at how many accumulated snow we would get during the winter, and he looked for like other outside things like different restaurants or chains. One thing in particular he looked for was a gay club, and they were also one of the schools that offered him a job. So currently his title is the resident hall director of Schmidt Wilson, which is also known as Johnson B. Now that you know a little background information, I want to discuss the ethics side of Nick's leadership style. Nick upholds the HRL, which is Housing and Residence Life Diversity Statement, which includes that they want everyone to feel safe, accepted, and all ideas and backgrounds, races are welcome here. He also implements this with his RA staff because they're required to do like different programs. They have to do intentionals, which is where you talk to residents one-on-one and get a little bit of different things about them. But their requirements as well are they have to do a diversity event, and so they have to do a building-wide diversity event, which includes all of his staff, and then each staff member has to do their own floor diversity staff. And so that's just some ways that he can implement that through his teachings. He also is very fond, and when you talk to him, you can tell that he wants to create a safe space and environment for those that he's working with. And he challenges his staff to often be vulnerable with themselves, with each other, with him, with their floor. And as well, he wants them to like learn from other people and from each other and like really listen to those stories. So those are some things that he values as well in the professional life. He values communication, and Nick is one of those people where he wants to help you and he wants to do good, but he can't help you unless he like knows what's going on. So he doesn't have a problem if you are communicating properly like what is going on in your life. So personally though, he values spending time with people, whether that be friends and family, and he also likes to like maintain his own space. So one thing that he talked about in the interview was that he FaceTimes his dad every Monday and they cook dinner together. And I just thought that was really cool that he was able to keep that schedule and keep that constant thing in his life. On top of ethics, Nick also empowers. So according to Anderson and Hang, noted in the 2006 edition of Psychology and Marketing, they say that empowerment should be viewed as an individual motivation construct, meaning to enable rather than delegate. Nick does this by giving his student staff members the free reign on their floors. Like he has a like loose model set up, but he's not like dictating what they have to do, when they have to do it, and where they have to do it. And so this also allows for a hands-off approach. Like he's very like sits in the back seats and let like the student staff members do their own thing. And this allows the staff members to be self-empowered. So this encourages the student staff members to have like those tough conversations with themselves, like tough conversations with him, tough conversations with their residents. And so these tough conversations often lead to opportunities of mediation. And so a lot of Nick's job is mediation, whether that be through student staff, student and residents, to residents, like parents, like there's just a lot of mediation that he has to do in his job. And so since they have these qualities that contribute to the process, that brings me to the process-oriented element with a combination of ethics and empowerment. Nick can talk to anyone about anything, and that was why I was attracted to wanting to interview him, because I just thought that he was going to be upfront, vulnerable, and really just disclose information, and it would be a fun interview, which it really was. But even though he does like to talk about everything, he doesn't really like to make decisions for his staff. But at the end of like whether that was a decision, choice, or action, he likes to ask them like, how do you feel? What went well? Like what can we improve on for next time? And so by doing that with his student staff members, he's really able to like go through the process of what his staff thinks and is able to help them think of their process orientation through their own leadership styles. So, and that helps them navigate and grow. And so, according to Michelson, Sloan, and Heath, noted in a 2019 edition of International Journal of Business Communication, leadership behavior explains about 25% of why people feel productive, motivated, energized, and committed to their work. You can tell Nick really cares about the people he interacts with because of this and the three elements that he incorporates of the relational leadership model. So my biggest takeaways throughout my interview with Nick was that you should make time for yourself. It's important in all aspects of life. You should have good communication. You should be able to communicate what's going on in your life. And people normally want to help, so being able to communicate that properly is really important. In conclusion, Nick utilizes many of these elements from the relational leadership model, and you can see it in the way he talks about the position, he interacts with his staff in building, and upholds his values and makes sure people uphold their own. And the last question of my interview with Nick was asking him what he wanted to be remembered for, and his response was that he wanted to be remembered for caring about his students and showing them how to progress in life and grow into better individuals. The combination of all of the above shows that Nick's leadership style is a great example of the relational leadership model.